Well, happy Earth Day. We were looking for something simple to do with our students, and we came up with the idea of making butterflies. So all you're going to need, 2 of the regular size, and if you have the bigger ones, it's okay, coffee filters, a pipe cleaner, some washable markers. Doesn't matter what brand. These happen to be Crayola, but you can also use things like Prang and other brands. Okay? And then I'm using a spray bottle, and then I will have a paper plate to put my butterfly on. Now, the one thing you want to think about is, if you're doing it with more than one child, write their name on the outside edge, okay? And write it in pen or Sharpie, okay? And if it's by class, you would also want to put a class code. So for instance, when I'm doing things with first grade, I would put 1 dash, and then I would put the first initial of the last name of the teacher, okay? So you turn your coffee filter over and pick your colors. Now, I'm going to stick to the warm colors, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and think about the fact that this is going to be either the upper or the lower set of wings. And you can use fine line markers, or you can use some of the broad tips. So you don't need to color every little inch of it in, and just make kind of a repeated pattern. Again, it doesn't have to fill every single inch in, because what we're going to do is we're going to spray these. And that's why we used a pen to fill in the name. Okay, so I've got that done. Now I'm going to add some orange in between, because if we're sticking to the warm colors, when they blend together, it'll end up looking really nice. Now, one thing I always remind my students, if you're using markers, it's always important to be really careful whether you're going over top of another color or right up against another color that's darker, especially if you're using that yellow marker. And so what I'm going to do is, now when I put my yellow on here, I'm going to kind of fill in my center, and I'm going to be real careful that I don't draw over top of any of my red or orange. And then I'll just go ahead and add in between here little bits, just to give a little bit of extra color, and that gives it that kind of ombre effect. And ombre just means that it goes from lights to darks, or darks to lights. So I'm adding my color in, and I'm being careful that I do not get over top of another color, because you don't want to mess the tip up. Fun fact, if you do actually get some of the other color on your tip, if you take a scrap of paper and you just keep coloring with that marker over top of where it's like been discolored, eventually it will take some of the color. It won't take all of it, but it will get rid of some of that extra color. So now I have my first piece done. I'm going to set that to the side, and here I'm going to put more yellow, because I want this to have a little bit more of a yellow design to it. And this is going to be the bottom wings. Okay. Kind of making like almost like petal like look there. And now I'm going to add some orange in between. And I don't need my name on this one because they are going to be attached. And you can do this a couple of ways. If you're doing it at home, you can just color it and then add the water and then attach after it dries. But because we're doing it with a lot of kids, this is going to be a school-wide project, we're going to want to attach the pipe cleaner first, and then that way we'll be able to not have to worry about matching up the top part of the wings with the bottom part of the wings. And this is a great little activity because it's teaching them about how the colors can flow. Now you can also switch it up a little bit and you can use some crayons, and if they color really heavy with the crayons and then use marker in between, it'll get some resist. And there's one other way that you can also do some really cool designs. This is something I've done with my students, and for this we used Sharpie markers, and it stops the metallic markers, it stops the colored marker from blending. So we were doing a Marc Chagall lesson on that. So now I'm going to take my two butterfly pieces, I'm going to fold my pipe cleaner in half, okay? And I'm going to start to pinch up the center part, and I'm being careful to make sure my name is still visible. So we're kind of folding it in. I'm going to press that so I can then do the same thing here. And you can either fold it or press it, just squish it in. Okay, so now I have those two pieces together. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner, put it over top. Okay. And now I'm going to twist gently, and then I can adjust my butterfly's wings. Okay. And if you need to pinch it a little bit more, you can. And then you can twist around because we've got our cute little antennas. Okay. Now, if you want, you can also add accents, and you can do that now or you can do that later. For instance, if you wanted to add maybe like a little tiny bit, maybe you're like, wow, I need a little more color here. So if you want, just add little bits here and there. Okay, maybe you need a little more color down here. And that's why it's kind of fun to do this before you spray it. And now I'm going to take my paper plate and I'm going to just lightly spritz. And the beauty of it is I can let this sit and dry on the plate, and it won't get all over the place, the ink won't go everywhere, and that way the child has a beautiful way to take it home. So I hope you like it and have fun making your Earth Day butterflies.